Hey,
Oh, wait. Hi,
how are you?
this meeting is being recorded.
Oh yeah, it's reading right. I wanted to catch the very beginning to make sure that it felt genuine. So yeah, just a heads up, it's being recorded.
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I
You came
figured
into
I'd,
my bulk mail.
what's that?
You came into my bulk mail.
Oh,
No
really?
offense.
That's good to know that I'm spam. Um, I figured I should set up with kind of like the reasoning behind this, so that it's not just random. Um, I just thought of it last night that it would be good. Like I miss seeing everybody anyways, so I miss seeing my colleagues and talking to you all and stuff. And so I figured, what better way than to do something like this where students also can tune in if they want to and see what's going on and get to know educators better. And I'm thinking too, I might invite students to do this as well, so that their classmates can get to know one another and that kind of thing too. So
It's
stay tuned.
exciting.
We'll see how that goes.
When this is all over, you need to teach me how to do it.
It's really I feel like I appreciate that, but I just press a couple buttons and then it's going. The only thing is at the end is that um, you have to like make sure that it starts downloading the recording, and then you save it and then upload it and all that stuff. So um,
So you
that
upload it to YouTube?
so it'll save on the computer, and then um, once each guest approves of it, then I think on YouTube you just go to your channel and then upload videos, and it'll upload.
My channel?
Well, yeah, I have a little YouTube
Teach
channel,
me
so
that too.
yeah. So I think, but I'll walk through that. I think we could probably do it after this if you want to. I'll just share my screen and I'll show you.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And then and then also just to like stay connected, so get that feeling of knowing what's going on, and also I know I'm a big fan of this, but being able to see educators or your teachers as people rather than someone at the front of the classroom who is supposed to be all knowing and that kind of stuff. So anyways, um so welcome to the first episode. I'll title it Quarantined with Ashmun, I think is what it is so far. That's probably going to change, or we'll see what happens. So if we'll start with who you are, what do you do, and we'll go from there.
I'm Stephanie Paterson. I teach in the Department of English at CSU Stanislaus. And I'm suddenly teaching 3 classes online right now.
Are those the 3009, all 3009, or no, you have your first year comp too?
First year comp, writing for teachers and creative writing. And I met with my freshmen this morning at 9.
So you're doing, I know, asynchronous and synchronous, or?
So it's semi-synchronous because we were all there at 9 o'clock this morning. So I'm trying to preserve a little bit of our usual class. So we all write, and they're taking turns being the prompt provider.
That was the creative writing or the first year?
This is the first year comp.
First year comp, okay. Mm-hmm. And how many are in that class?
12.
That was a smaller group that we saw, and that's with Delilah still too, right?
Yeah.
So how'd they feel? How do you think they felt when they're 9 o'clock doing prompt of the day? Do they like it, or?
I think Melissa was the prompt provider today, and they were really good prompts, and we all answered different ones. One was about philosophy. If imagine what's your philosophy of teaching, and which I got to answer as it was a semi-fictional prompt for them. Imagine yourself like 10 years down the road. What's your philosophy? And so much of my curriculum this semester has been about well-being and self-care and cultivating habits that provide a sense of structure. And anyway, I feel like everything that we've been working on is suddenly enormously important. So it's like the perfect curriculum accidentally. And the other thing we're doing right now, and I was thinking of Moffat. I got a chance to write about Moffat and about educating the whole person. And basically I got a chance to write my rationale for the course. I look forward. I look forward to our writing. That's the part I'm going to keep after spring break.
Hmm.
It seems to be working, and it's low stakes, but I also get a pulse on my class. Some of them are losing their jobs. Some of them are, I'm getting a sense of what they're going through.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the idea of like the self-care and that kind of stuff, because like how it seemed like it timed out really well with what's going on, because I've kind of gotten that sense from students for the exercise part of it. So we're in the middle. March is our exercise challenge, and so this idea of being aware and making sure we're exercising, and how that, from what I understand, I'm not too immersed in this, but being healthy and exercising is an important part to kind of for your immune system and fighting off um, COVID-19. And so it feels weird even saying that. But so it seems like that aligned well too. And then just the other day, for my Lives 1000 class this week, they're reading the Reactive to Proactive, the Michael Open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's about 40 out of the 75 students have responded so far. And a lot of them have talked about this idea of like how this is connected well with what's currently taking place. And obviously I didn't plan that, but it seems to align well with that, which is cool to see.
This is the big Libs class?
Yeah, the Lives 1000, which actually it's interesting, because that's a big reason I was thinking about doing this too, because one of the things I was really disappointed with was April 1st was our educator panel. And so we were going to bring, I think, 8 educators, and you were one of them. And I was really excited for that. And I know students usually take a lot from that. And so I was trying to think of a way to still do that for students.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you also mentioned creative writing, and yesterday I was going through my closet of binders for all my different courses I took, and I noticed I think it was a creative writing class. I forget the number. What's the number on it?
Intro to Creative Writing is 2010.
2010. And I took that, and right when I saw it, I thought, I took it. I won't name the professor, but he was wonderful. He did a really good job with it. But I was thinking, like, how jealous am I of your students, because they get to take it with you? And so I was interested to hear more about how you're teaching that and how that's going online.
Yeah. This week I view it as a transitional week, so I tried to cut back. I didn't do what we had planned to do, but I kept the writing in the morning. So I had 2 prompt providers, and what else did we do? The other part of the course is I just collected all their creative pieces. So that's a portion of my spring break, is to get them back to them.
How are you going to do that? Are you sending that back electronically, or are you mailing them?
Well, it's interesting. I collected papers, and then when this all happened, I asked them to send me the papers electronically.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll just send them, and write the comments online.
Yeah, which seems weird. I did that I collected essay number 1 for 3009, and then I was grading, with the written feedback, and I created a Google folder for each student, and so I just started taking scans of each one and sent that back with my writing on it. But we're obviously going to be transitioning into Google Docs and commenting that way, which part of me is excited about, because they're going to be able to read my writing better than my handwriting. But I think about you, and I know myself and other students talk, how much they enjoy your feedback specifically. I mean, obviously the content of it, but actually just your handwriting on there. And I wonder if there's a study to be done about the effect of not seeing that. Because besides the content, your feedback's going to look just like mine, Times New Roman 12-point font or Calibri, whatever. And I think there's a big difference there when looking at those things.
It's good. We should study that. I'd be curious to ask him.
I was gonna say, every time something comes up where it's like, oh, we should do something, I say no, because then I have that dissertation and all that stuff going on that I have to focus.
I should study it. Coming back to the question, though, in that class, we're using a book called Austin Kleon, Keep Going, which again is like, isn't that the greatest title for right now? Just Keep Going, and it's these short, beautiful, creative chapters. And I was just reading through my notebook before you called, and the other thing my students did is they presented on the Sun magazine, and they each presented on a poem, a short story, and an essay, and it was my way to kind of give them an immersion experience in seeing the genres, seeing what they lean toward of the 3 genres, what they prefer. And anyway, I went and downloaded every one that they read, and now we have this monster file of pieces that they picked out of every Sun magazine. So when we come back after spring break, I think I'm going to have them do like a free choice thing where those are the pieces that they read from that they picked, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and that gives you the variety too of seeing what they're leaning towards. And then it's not just something where a professor tells them like, you have to read this, which plays in huge too.
And the Sun, thanks to you, flew down to my mailbox and it came yesterday. And I read this great essay. Yeah, open it up and look at, who's the guy named Kelly? Something Kelly?
Oh, Kelly Daniels.
He wrote a fantastic essay, and I was reading it and noting all the things that he was doing that I want to see them do. Craft moves. Yes. No accident. So I'm definitely going to use that one too. So, and I want to kind of model like picking out moves that the writers are doing that they can try for themselves.
Yeah, to be a bit passive aggressive with my students. I shared this with them, like I shared with you, and I asked them, what would they highlight in that picture, and one person has responded to me in 2 classes. So if you're a student hearing this, go on there and respond to me. So I know what quotes you picked. So what else with 3009? Because that's the one I wanted to ask about too, because that's what I'm, obviously I'm teaching that with you. So we're in the same boat as that. But I know 3009 is important, really important to you. It's something that you hold near and dear, and you have passed that on to me, holding it near and dear. And so I know it's probably difficult to all of a sudden take that online. And so I was just wondering and I can share mine as well, but if there's any issues you're having or frustrations or the positives that are coming out of it too.
Mm-hmm. Why are you laughing?
Just thinking about like all of that and trying to synthesize that, I guess, and articulate that.
I'm trying to think which piece to tackle first. Issues, positives. The positives are that like already we're online doing the writing, and every time, so our class is at 8:00 in the morning, and I'm trying to keep that part synchronous, which I'm sure they're not so happy about. There they were, and the prompt provider was there, and I just wanted to cry. I was so overjoyed to see them, and then one by one, there's a new prompt, a new post, and it's such a pleasure to feel like I have my class and to see what they're saying, and you learn so much from their writing. I can hear them. Luckily, we've already been meeting, so I can hear them. But one of my students said something about, like, it's a different experience to be typing online and having it's like this feels permanent to me. It's going to be recorded.
Right.
And when you're writing on the fly in a classroom and the timer goes off in 5 minutes, there's an ephemeral quality to it. And he used the word invasive, and there it is forever. Like so I've just been kind of haunted by that word. I don't want it to feel invasive, but it has a different heaviness to it. So, and then this morning are all comments that they don't like Zoom. A lot of I don't like Zoom, and I hope my professors don't do it. And of course, it's writing to me, read my mind, and so. And they're really overwhelmed by having 5 classes and having different platforms and different, the information of what to do is coming to them on all these different channels, their email and the Moodle and Blackboard and Zoom. And one student was saying Zoom's hard because their parents are home. And so I'm really appreciating that we have spring break, because I'm just going to I haven't done what you did where you already plan the schedule. I still need to, and I really want to think carefully about what's going to get cut and what I'm going to include. And my sense is that really less is more.
Right.
Because I'm getting so much from their writing, and here it is just written on the fly in 5 minutes, but what they're saying to each other and what they're writing about feels super valuable and full of information about what we value and what the issues are, like big issues. One of the students got up at 6:30 this morning to go to Safeway at 7 because she
Hmm.
has no food in her fridge except for a Brita and leftover sushi, and she has an immune condition. So she was there with senior
Right.
shoppers, and
Yeah, like immunosuppressed or
yeah,
immunodeficiency or something.
yeah, and she said the shelves were empty,
Yeah, yeah.
like they were all picked over. So she was buying really expensive food. She spent $300 and didn't really get what she wanted, but had to
Oh,
buy
geez.
something.
I never. That makes me feel better. I did Costco about a week ago and spent $150, and I thought that was crazy. But I still, I mean, I think we're good for at least 3 more days. I mean,
Yeah,
probably longer than that. With like, we got a bunch of hot dogs, and
yeah.
I know.
We have
No,
a
we had.
dog.
I think I had a stack of tortillas. And he's like, "Do you think you have enough tortillas?" He's like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna be good for a while on that." But when you're talking about with the Zoom too, like I was just thinking about, like I enjoy this, but just now like the dog, Rivers is over there whining by the door, and so trying to stay focused on those kind of things at the same time as
I had to
trying
lock
to.
Kenny out because he
Oh,
chews
really?
quills when I'm not paying attention.
So you get done with it and you have a bunch of quilts chewed through. Um, the other thing you kind of mentioned, this idea of structure, keeping that. I wonder if that's um, just to be transparent, like what my biggest thing as a student I'd be excited about is that I didn't have to be there at 8 a.m. anymore. I could sleep
Yeah,
in and then I could do it when I'm ready to.
I
But
still haven't been, by the way. I'm missing. I've personally written to someone saying, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And I
oh,
never
okay.
heard back.
Uh-oh.
So big issue.
Yeah. Uh, but I think maybe that's nice too, as far as keeping a structure, because I think a big part of this is the routine's been just blown up, and you have to develop this new routine. So I think you can make an argument that if we stayed 8 a.m. and everything else is good, like we have internet, have access, and we're free at that time still, then it almost feels like that's probably a good idea because then we keep that permanence going. For some students, obviously not for everybody. Um,
But the bulk of them are doing it, so I'm
yeah.
glad.
The other thing that, because you and I kind of talked before this through text, and what you mentioned and you said a student had is the same thing, is the idea of being permanent. Um, that something's out there like this video or a piece of writing and that kind of thing. And I know that's a real thing. I'm not trying to like discount it, but one of the things I think I bother my students sometimes when I say it, because a lot of students are nervous when they turn in that first reader response or when they turn in an essay. And I always felt, and I think about your classes a lot, but even the creative writing class I took, like I was always really excited about what I wrote, and I felt good about like I can't wait for you to read this. You're gonna love it, blah blah blah. And so I do tend to have a hard time with being nervous about those kind of things. Like even with this video, like here it is, take it for what it's worth. If you like it, cool. If you don't, no big deal. But that doesn't actually align with me as like an educator, because like when I get my idea surveys, that's very hard for me to read through. I sit by myself and that's a permanent. So this idea of like what people think, um, in one sense I'm excited about it, and in another sense I'm nervous about it. So I just wanted to kind of see what you thought about that or give more insight, or if that, I don't know if that's a question or what that was.
Yeah, I'm not. What is the question?
um Maybe it's just the idea of like why that's a.
What's the situation that trips you up? Like for
Yeah, the
me,
idea of permanence. What is it about permanence that makes it nerve-wracking or scary?
that you can't revise.
Hmm. I think yeah, that makes sense to me. That's good. Um, you mentioned, I'm going to go back to this real quick. Just I want to make sure I have the name. The author of Keep Going,
It's Austin Kleon.
Austin Kleon.
He's the guy who did the blackout poetry.
Oh, okay.
I think my copy's at school, but such a great book, and um, the whole point of it is that we're all creative, and it's kind of a study of creativity and what gets in the way of it, and it's about paying attention to the world around you and cultivating observation, and that when you make things, it's like a gift, that it's gift giving, and it's just full of really important lessons about the whole art exchange, whatever creative act it is, writing or painting and every chapter begins with quotes. It's put together, it's a little square book, so it's even artistic in its shape. And I've had them do things like draw and like, I'm trying to think what else is sort of creative, but it's the underpinning of the whole course is kind of doing the groundwork to create anything.
That's what, so the two things, one thing is that I think on Twitter I saw it where your handout for that conference in Arizona, someone shared with other people talking about how beautiful your handout was and how nice it was. Did you see that?
Yes, that was nice.
I want to say it's like Laura something.
Even I open up to my notebook and it says share Brett's Sisyphus tattoo, which
Oh.
I did because it was mentioned, Sisyphus was mentioned in that book, and on the same page, there's a Willie Nelson quote about art and being creative keeps you alive. So that's something I want to teach.
There's that one. And I'm not going to show you the other one really because this, I just got this one. So I got a lion tattoo, but it's a work in progress. So it's supposed to be like 4 or 5 sessions. And we got done with the second one, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And it got infected at the very bottom, like really bad. And so I called the guy and he goes, "Oh yeah, that happens sometimes." And so,
you're not going to show me?
Oh, I can, yeah, I can, but it's all dry. And so that's
oh my gosh.
so it's not done up here yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's just, okay.
But it's outlined up in there.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Show me Sisyphus.
Oh,
and that goes all the way up, right? Yeah.
It's so funny. I was telling Annie part of why I wanted to do this was to be transparent and show our students that we're more than just educators. And now I'm like getting nervous about showing my Sisyphus and my lion. So thank you for doing that. That's what I should be doing. No, yeah, and it got really bad. And then I ended up putting more like the lotion that the guy gave me on it, which you don't want to do because the more you put on there, the more it like blocks up your pores. So then I started getting like a breakout, really sore. So anyways, it's finally like doing better now. And now that this coronavirus is going on, I don't want to go have a needle in my arm. So now we'll probably hold off for a couple months at least. Kind of going down the same direction. I know we talked about education quite a bit, and I want to make sure we just talk about life in general. So one of the questions I had that I put down was, what have you been doing during the quarantine and the lockdown, and how are you passing time?
Well, in a weird way, I'm kind of made for this because I love to be alone.
Same, exactly the same.
I've been in training for, most of my life. So I've been walking, biking, painting. I've got my students painting. I asked them to, inspired by Penny Kittle. Did I send that to you?
Mm-hmm. The flip grid?
Sending what they see out their window. They've been drawing it. And again, every time they come in, I'm so delighted to see what they see out their windows as paintings.
Do you have that? Could you share that with us?
Yeah. You mean like hold it up?
Yeah.
I wonder if I could show you on my phone.
Oh yeah.
Or I could invite you to my Slack page. I post them on Slack.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what I could do? Let me see if I can find it on and I can just share my screen because you shared it with me.
The Slack?
No, the painting that you did. Did you email it or text it to me?
I can't remember. Text, probably. Do you want me to send you the address to Slack?
Yeah, try that, and then I'll see if I can. I don't know if I could. I never tried that on Slack. I've only just had my Slack.
That's been a fun way to correspond. So I get copy. Let me see.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna let the dogs out real quick.
Okay. I sent it to your email.
Okay, let me see if I can find
Can
it.
I put it right here on chat, actually?
Oh yeah, you could.
And does everyone get to see it?
I'll make sure that actually, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it because I'm gonna have to, no, I'm not gonna be able to sign into
Okay.
yours.
Anyway, that's been really fun. So I'm reading. What else? I'm
What do you,
taking.
that was another question though, because I remember you said that Newkirk used to always ask you, what are you reading? And so I want to make sure I ask that question too.
I'm kind of embarrassed what I'm reading right now. Before this all happened, I started to think that I had adult ADD,
Uh-huh.
ADHD, and I bought a book called Brain Hacks: Life-Changing Strategies to Improve Executive Functioning. And what's so funny is that I'm having a hard time paying attention, like, because there's so much coming in. And so it's actually a really good book to be reading right now about prioritizing, making lists, and
I noticed that same thing, and part of me was thinking that this is going to be really nice to not have to go down to school every day and not, going through that, all that. And then I realized it almost feels like I'm working more when
yeah,
I'm at home because it's a constant, like you're working 24, like you don't get to get away. It's a constant go, 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 which is kind of an interesting, because, even your colleagues are emailing, they're messaging, all these different things are going on. And instead of saying, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 hours, it's the whole time you're
yeah.
checking in or doing different things.
Plus, I'm trying to learn about this thing that we're.
Yeah.
I mean,
The other thing you mentioned that I connect with, and I've actually told Annie I feel guilty about quite a bit, is people are freaking out about wanting to get out of the house and go do stuff and get stir crazy. And I was like, I was made for it. Like you said, like this, I love it. So everything that you're not allowed. So what you can still do is go outside, do yard work. You can go for a run. You can exercise outside. Just stay away from people. So and you can go to the grocery store. So everything that I do normally is what you can do. You can't go to the club. You can't go, bowling. So all those things that I don't do, you don't have to worry about. So I feel bad for people who, need to get out of the house, but it's almost been, this it's really nice just to have the excuse. I forget the quote, but somebody said when someone cancels plans, it's like heroin, something like that, where it feels so good that someone canceled that you don't have to go somewhere. And I'm just getting constant emails of cancellations. It's like, oh, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. So it has been kind of nice in that sense.
freeing up your calendar, yeah.
And then the rest of it's been when there is time. Like I should have from now till Sunday. So everything for both classes is due at midnight or 11:59 on Sunday. Trying to do that one, I think, and it's something that you shared with me. So everything's done on my end until that happens. So it's now all writing, and I don't know if this is convenient or helpful for anybody. But for my dissertation, I did. For my writing right now, instead of doing Times New Roman 12-point font double spaced, I single spaced it and put a 11 size font so that when I get done writing, I'll double space it and make it 12-point font. So it shows that I did a lot of work rather than just a single spaced page. Does that make sense? Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And then we're at our time also, so I'm going to be cognizant of that. How do I share my screen? I know how to do this.
I'm impressed. I got to learn Zoom.
Well, don't be, because I don't even know how to share my screen. I know it's on here somewhere. Maybe I'm not going to show you because I don't know. That's so weird. I know how to do it. No, I don't, apparently, but
the idea is that it's going to double the work that you.
Yeah, so basically I write it in a way that, oh my God, I don't have that much written. But then once I'm done, I put it in the format that it's supposed to be in. And so one page single space turns into 2 pages, in other words. So I write it that way. Yeah.
Whatever trick.
Yeah, it feels good at the end rather than, oh God, you only have 1 page. Okay, so last thing, and then I'm gonna let you go. So we're at our 30 minutes. Anything that you would like to, I put anything you want to plug. So is there anything that you're doing that you want people to go check out, to go read? Any suggestions for stuff to do during this time of quarantine, or any tidbits of advice?
I just asked my students, what are you reading? And again, I did it on Slack and they said they weren't reading anything. And I asked them what what their preferences were. And anyway, I just walked over my bookshelves and I started sending book titles. And I'm so happy so I guess my plug is I hope they use the break to read. And I gave them a memoir called Educated, which just blew my mind. I don't know if you, Tara.
Yeah, it has like the ED in parentheses, the title of it.
I
I
think
think
it
I've
just
seen the cover.
it has a big pencil on the cover.
Yeah.
That, and then I recommended the book that's in films right now, Just Mercy, about
Oh yeah.
wrongfully convicted, which is a really powerful book. And then I recommended, Annie Lamott. She's got a book about basically living through crisis. It's called Stitches. And so two of them said they're going to check it out.
Nice.
Maybe the rest of it. And Melissa was already reading something, so that's good.
Yeah, that's that Anne Lamott, shitty first drafts. Every single time I share that with students, they get a kick out of it and they love reading it. And so I appreciate having that as a resource. I was going to end with showing Kona, but Kona went outside. Can we see Finn?
Yeah, I've got him locked outside. You want me to go get him?
If you don't mind, because we're done.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get Kona.
Oh my goodness. He's not happy about this. I took him off his position on the quilt.
Yeah, you can tell he's not happy about it.
Oh, who's that? Oh my goodness.
It seems like students love the pets and the animals too. So I gotta go. I think I hear Kona. There's Rivers. Rivers.
Oh, this is gonna scare Finny. Oh look.
You sit. You sit.
Oh, hi Annie.
There goes Annie. Where's your sister at? Here comes Kona. Kona. Come on. There's Kona.
Hi.
Good girl.
Oh. Did you
All
see
right. Well, what's that?
Did you see all the Labradors in the tub?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to take more of your time,
Thank
but
you.
I appreciate it, and I know we'll be in touch some more. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye to you and bye to Finn.
Okay, take care.
See ya.